Caracas, the capital of Venezuela, is not merely a city, it is an entire world where danger lurks behind every corner, and survival is a daily challenge for anyone who dares to walk its streets. With one of the highest murder rates in the world, Caracas has earned a reputation as a city where even the simplest acts, like stepping out of your door or walking to the corner store, can turn into life-threatening adventures. In neighborhoods known as barrios, sprawling on the hillsides and throughout the city, residents face a reality dominated by armed gangs, kidnappers, and violent street crime. The city is a labyrinth of narrow alleys, steep streets, and abandoned buildings, each hiding a story of danger, desperation, and the unpredictable chaos that has become a normal part of life for the people who live here. From the wealthiest districts to the most neglected corners, Caracas demands constant vigilance, and even locals admit that it feels like walking through a minefield where the slightest misstep can have catastrophic consequences. The streets are alive in a way that outsiders often cannot comprehend. Motorbikes weave dangerously through chaotic traffic, street vendors line the roads with their carts, and children play near walls that have been scarred by bullets and graffiti marking gang territories. In areas such as Peter, one of the largest slums in Latin America, and Ketia, another notorious district, the presence of gangs is not just visible, it is omnipresent. Armed groups patrol the streets, sometimes blocking roads to control access, sometimes watching silently from rooftops, always alert, always ready to respond to any intrusion in their territory. It is an environment where power is defined not by law, but by the ability to intimidate, threaten, or commit acts of violence with near impunity. Even something as simple as driving down a main street can be perilous. Carjackings, robberies, and ambushes happen daily, often in broad daylight. Tourists are frequently warned to avoid these neighborhoods entirely, yet the stories of those who attempt to navigate them, whether for adventure or necessity, are full of tense moments where split-second decisions determine whether they survive or become another statistic. The danger in Caracas is not limited to its gangs alone. Paramilitary groups, known locally as colectivos, have taken to patrolling the city with motorcycles, guns, and a reputation for brutal enforcement of their own rules. These groups act as both protectors and predators, often taking control of neighborhoods in ways that blur the line between security and terror. Residents recount stories of colectivos entering homes, extorting locals, or violently quelling even the slightest perceived disrespect. Street violence is not random, it is strategic, territorial, and frighteningly calculated. The sounds of gunfire echo frequently across the valleys and hills, sometimes mistaken for fireworks by outsiders but all too real to the residents who know the deadly implications. Neighborhoods transform after dark, turning into zones of near-complete lawlessness, where even crossing the street can require negotiation, careful observation, and a keen understanding of who controls which territory. Life in Caracas, however, is not solely defined by fear. It is a place where resilience, adaptation, and courage manifest in everyday survival. Families learn to lock their homes early, children are taught to avoid the wrong streets, and citizens develop an uncanny awareness of subtle cues that might indicate danger nearby. Markets continue to operate, schools and workplaces function under layers of security, and people form tight-knit communities to protect one another. The city pulses with life amid chaos, a testament to the human spirit's determination to endure, even when surrounded by constant threat. Yet, the omnipresent tension never fully fades, it becomes a constant companion, a shadow looming over every action, every decision, every step taken outside the relative safety of home. Caracas is a city where fear and resilience coexist in a delicate, often terrifying balance, a city where survival is an art form, and every street tells a story that is as gripping as it is dangerous. As night falls over Caracas, the city transforms into a living maze of tension and danger, where every street corner holds uncertainty, and every shadow could hide a threat. The gangs that control the barrios operate like armies, with strict hierarchies and defined territories marked by graffiti, burned-out cars, or even makeshift checkpoints. In neighborhoods such as La Vega and Peter, armed young men patrol the streets, watching everyone who passes, their eyes scanning for even the smallest sign of disrespect. Any perceived challenge to their authority can trigger a violent response. Locals often describe the streets as a chessboard, where a single misstep or wrong turn could mean becoming a pawn in someone else's deadly game. Violence in Caracas is not always spontaneous, it is often calculated and territorial. Rival gangs clash over control of drug routes, extortion territories, and neighborhoods, resulting in sudden shootouts that leave bystanders terrified. Residents describe the deafening sounds of gunfire echoing through the hills as if the city itself were alive and warning them of impending danger. Motorcycles dart through narrow alleyways like shadows, carrying gang members who strike with speed and vanish just as quickly. Ordinary citizens have learned to move silently, avoid eye contact, and stay alert to any unusual movement or sound, because in Caracas, an instant can determine life or death. Even the day-to-day tasks of getting food, commuting to work, or visiting family are fraught with peril. Many locals opt to travel in groups, drive with doors locked, and carry no valuables that could attract attention. However, for those who must traverse the city alone, it becomes a constant exercise in vigilance and improvisation. A misturn or entering the wrong street could lead to an armed robbery, a kidnapping attempt, or confrontation with an unpredictable gang. Fear has shaped the rhythms of daily life, dictating which areas are safe, what times to leave home, and even how one speaks in public. Residents have developed a heightened sense of awareness, learning to read subtle signals, the position of a parked motorcycle, the casual glance of a young man on the sidewalk, or the presence of unfamiliar graffiti, all warning signs that danger might be near. Yet amid the chaos, Caracas reveals the resilience of its people. Small acts of courage occur daily, neighbors warning each other of approaching gangs, shopkeepers standing firm against extortion, and communities uniting to protect their streets. The city is a paradox, both terrifying and alive, oppressive yet unyielding. Every incident, every narrow escape, every tense evening reinforces the understanding that life in Caracas demands sharp instincts, courage, and constant vigilance. And for those watching from outside, it is a glimpse into a world where survival is the ultimate test, where the streets are not just roads but arenas of danger, and where each story leaves you questioning, how do people endure, and what will happen next? The reality of Caracas is harsher than any outsider could imagine. Every evening, as the sun disappears behind the hills, the city enters a state of controlled chaos. Gunfire becomes a haunting soundtrack, motorcycles buzz like swarms of insects along dark alleys, and residents move with calculated caution. The fear of robbery, kidnapping, or being caught in a gang crossfire shapes every action, every decision, every step taken outside the safety of home. Yet amidst this darkness, the human spirit refuses to surrender. Families create routines of survival, children learn the invisible rules of their neighborhoods, and communities band together, relying on trust and instinct to navigate a landscape dominated by danger. For those brave enough to venture beyond their front doors, Caracas offers stories of extreme survival. Citizens dodge bullets in alleyways, negotiate passage through gang-controlled areas, and find clever ways to protect themselves from predatory threats. Even daily commutes become tense tests of strategy, choosing the right route, the right time, and the right companions can mean the difference between life and death. Visitors witness a city that is alive not just with its people, but with an underlying tension that keeps everyone on edge. As the night deepens, one thing becomes clear: Caracas is more than a city, it is a crucible of human resilience, courage, and instinct. Life here is unpredictable, violent, and terrifying, yet it continues. Every resident carries a story of survival, and every street corner holds another danger waiting to unfold. And as we leave these streets for now, one question lingers in the mind of everyone who dares to watch: what shocking, life-threatening reality will the next episode reveal, and will anyone be safe enough to witness it?